Pretty sure watching this fucking movie gave me coronavirus.
Started out like the flu, and now we can't go pew pew. It was only a flu. It was only the flu.
Welcome back to Kris Vents. I'm your host, and I'm here as always with Dom, the disembodied Discord voice. And today we're talking about another Look, Mommy, I Can Be Provocative Too movie. Corona. Oh, this is an interesting one to talk about, Dom.
First, let me ask: is it better or worse than the prior two films, or somewhere in between?
It's better than The Insurrection, but not better than Cuck. So this is do what?
I was just gonna say, just looking at the plot synopsis from what you would describe to me, I thought it was just going to be a rehash of that M. Night Shyamalan movie, except instead of the devil, it's somebody with coronavirus. And in retrospect, that seems silly, but now I know it's as you said, a provocative piece about racism and prejudice and how bigotry is the real virus.
Yeah, that seems like the overall message this movie is trying to convey. So this movie first came onto my radar last year because I am a regular watcher of Brad Jones's videos, and this was one of his regular reviews, not his cinema snob snarkathons, which I actually prefer his movie reviews. But so this movie was written, produced, edited, and I'm going to use the word edited with Lady Domitresque from Resident Evil 8 sized air quotes here, and directed by some guy named, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to fuck this up, Mustafa Keshvari. I guess he was reading up about about COVID in the early stages last year and saw a lot of hate being placed towards the Asian community in Canada, and decided he wanted to make an anti-racism movie, and decided to strike while the iron is not really hot, but I guess lukewarm, considering this was filmed right before everybody went into lockdown. Well, except me, because I got a job that doesn't allow that.
So it's almost by definition, it's going to be too late.
Pretty much. I think Brad said it best when he said this is the kind of movie that a 21-year-old film student writes while telling himself,
I'm provocative as shit.
Like, you're in trouble because of the way the credits are set up. So this movie, a really interesting thing about this movie, the actual meat of the story, the actual movie itself, is only about 62 minutes in length. So, and because this movie is 72 minutes long, that leaves the opening and closing credits roughly as 10 minutes long. And oh my god, they use those credits to pad this movie out to feature length. So the credits are like this studio presents. Then it'll cut to stock footage. Relax, I'm just clearing my throat. It's not COVID. It'll be like, studio presents stock footage. A film by Mustafa Keshvari. Stock footage. Corona. Stock footage. Starring this person. Stock footage. And then you just keep that on until about 4 minutes have elapsed. And they do almost the exact same thing with the ending credits. Except with the opening credits, it shows the world all bustling, like everybody's just out about their business, and then the closing credits roll around, and it's the exact opposite, and it's like the rapture happened.
Instead of just saying it's a shorter than average movie, they try and overcompensate.
Yeah, they did. So as soon as the this entire movie is confined to this one elevator where all these people are stuck on it, and So it's like we start with one guy and then more people get on and more people get on. You start with the elevator repair guy because this is an apartment building, and of course he's trying to fix the elevator. You get the building manager who is a complete asshole because reasons, and his wife who is going into labor because reasons. Then we get the teenager who for some reason is a social media influencer because of course she is. And the way she's portrayed just comes off as I half expect to see Steve Buscemi with a backwards hat slinging a skateboard and going,
How do you do, fellow kids?
Is there anybody who's just sort of there and just awkwardly standing around and not saying much?
one character, the who I guess is 6 months behind on his rent and is a parking lot attendant. But then you also get this uh, old, I'm guessing, Vietnam War veteran in a wheelchair. And because he's an old white dude, of course, he's a neo-Nazi with a swastika tattooed on his forehead, and he's got a Confederate flag draped over the back of his wheelchair.
How narratively convenient that these people are all together.
Yes. Yeah. Did I mention the elevator repair guy happens to be black?
Oh,
Yeah. And then they get this Chinese woman on there, which is where the whole Asian hate thing comes from because the old white guy is like,
Oh, in China, that's where the virus started from.
and of course, the Chinese woman doesn't speak a lick of English, so everyone thinks she's a carrier because someone's been saying that someone in the building has COVID.
all right. I think that's enough of a setup. Uh,
Yeah.
at least with Devil, you can have a supernatural element here, but this is just a bunch of people in an elevator. So even 60 minutes seems kind of long for that. How do things progress? How are things plotted out? How's the writing?
I would say what writing because I'm willing to bet because this whole movie is shot in one unbroken take with the camera just kind of going in and out between the actors around the edge of the elevator. It feels less like an aesthetic choice and more like the director just trying to get the movie out as quick as possible, which is another thing Brad Jones pointed out. I'm guessing the actors were given an outline to work off of, and most of the dialogue is just improvisation. So it devolves into a bunch of dipshits screaming at each other until they get a certain cue to, okay, well, this just changed the situation. Well, now this is happening. Well, now this is happening, and now we have to react to it. Like the elevator breaking down and then the lights going out. And I'm just going to say this, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I can't hear people just constantly screaming over each other or talking over each other. Like it actually legitimately
Really?
pisses me off. Do what?
I said, sorry, could you go on?
Yeah, it just it
You said that
legitimately.
you can't even.
That's all right. We can edit it out.
No, you see, that was my joke. You talk about people, you can't understand when people talk over each other.
It really pisses me off. Is what it is.
Well,
Especially if they're right by my ear. I'm just like, oh my god, will you shut the fuck up? So everybody in this movie is just a bad stereotype or a straw man for a certain argument. Like, of course, the building manager is an asshole, and he thinks that the virus is just hype. Which I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of what a lot of us thought it was at the beginning. Of course, the old guy is a neo-Nazi and a racist. Of course, the teenager is a social media influencer who has no problems taking selfies at the worst times possible. So, of course, the old guy, because the Chinese woman is coughing, automatically thinks that she's a carrier for COVID.
so I get it. There's a bunch of assholes screaming at each other and being racist, and this takes up an hour.
I mean,
It seems-
things do happen. Like the old guy, like eventually, like the building manager, because the Chinese woman is a doctor. We later find out she's a Red Cross doctor, and she knows the building manager's wife is going into labor. She can't speak English, but she's trying to tell them what they need to do, and the guy shoves her into the wall, and everyone thinks she's dead. They find a container in her bag, and they open it up, and it's got a rat in it, and it's her pet rat, and the manager kills it, and then everyone starts panicking more, and the old guy pulls a gun because somebody's got a face mask and he wants it. Then they go and disarm him, and he starts having a heart attack and dies in the elevator. And then the movie just devolves into a weird, like, round table confessional. Like, the elevator turns into a makeshift rectory.
Well, I feel sorry that a rat died.
That rat and the elevator repair guy are the most compelling characters in this fucking movie.
Well, I gotta ask, and this is spoilers, so be warned. Did anybody actually end up having COVID? I gotta know.
Yeah, but it wasn't the Chinese woman like everyone thought.
Oh, who was it?
During the round table of confessions, you later learned the parking attendant took a trip to China shortly before COVID started, and was sent home when the outbreak began. And he's like, well, I should be fine because I never left the airport. And then he starts coughing blood.
Is that a symptom?
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure it isn't.
Because, coughing blood, that could be something else entirely.
Yeah, my sister and my brother-in-law had COVID, and I'm pretty sure neither of them coughed blood. The confessional is hilarious. The Chinese woman, her name is Han Wu, and she's trying to get to where ground zero of the virus was, which is Wuhan.
Do they make light of that, or is that something the viewer is supposed to think for themselves?
I guess that I don't know if that was just the writer trying to be clever or not, but apparently she divorced her husband and she left a kid in China to start a new life in America, and she's like, I'm a horrible mother, but she's speaking in Chinese, so nobody understands what she's saying.
Why didn't she learn English? What's the... I don't know, whatever.
I have no idea. I have no idea. The building manager's wife, because she's in labor, the Chinese woman delivers the baby in the elevator. And the building manager's like, wait, that baby's black. It's not going in the direction you think. Because I know what it is because I thought it was going in that direction too. No, apparently he's sterile, and she didn't have the heart to tell him, so she took a sperm donor. But as it turns out, the building manager has terminal cancer, so the doctor said it would have affected his fertility anyway.
At least the repair guy didn't get his ass beat.
I don't know. The repair guy is kind of a big, like, he's not quite built like The Rock, but he's about The Rock's height, so he probably could beat someone's ass.
Does the film end with everybody hugging it out?
No, the camera just kind of pans up to this open air shaft where they're getting light from, and then it's just credits.
So you never see them leave.
You never see them leave. You're just left. Either they never got out of the elevator, or I guess maybe they did make it out of the elevator, and I don't know. I don't know who any of these people are. I can't remember the actors' names, and I really didn't give a fuck. I just wanted the movie to be over.
All right, so it sounds like the plot sucked. The writing wasn't that good. It was kind of corny.
Oh, and a funny thing about the influencer and the parking attendant, the little influencer apparently was spreading rumors around the building that somebody in there had COVID because she wanted to be YouTube famous or whatever.
Uh,
And the parking attendant, I guess, was spreading rumors about someone in the neighborhood having COVID because he was buying all the face masks from the neighborhood in bulk, so he could sell them to people at jacked up prices. As a price gouger, if you will. So it's actually fitting that he ended up having COVID because price gougers and people who just buy shit in bulk to sell for jacked up prices, those kind of people, like, your mother should have swallowed you.
price gouging has its economic uses. Let's see. Cast of.
Yeah, it's a who's who of who. Like,
And that's fine. That's fine because I actually think it's laudable to take actors who nobody's heard of, because that means you're focusing more on the character instead of, oh, we got Matt Damon and we'll play to that and try to rely on star power instead of writing or anything else. The thing is, they couldn't do that.
No, the old guy I thought kind of looked like a really haggard Kelsey Grammer. Like, there was a part where I was hoping that the elevator doors would suddenly open up and plot twist, they're all just hanging outside of Frasier's apartment. That would have made the movie worth it.
That absolutely would have. Frasier Crane, the later years.
Either that or like the last shot of the movie is like Bugs Bunny is watching them on a security monitor, like a camera in the elevator, and Bugs Bunny's just in the security office watching them and going, "Ain't I a stinker?"
Someone ought to make a film which, in that, either very serious or very bad or both, and just ends with that, like an hour build up to a few seconds of that.
Yes, that would make the whole movie worth it, just for that one payoff.
Someone should edit that in. That should be easy. Just given the footage of the film, just edit so it's like that. Like, as Riff Tracks put it in their Revenge of the Sith thing, the whole prequel trilogy ends with Darth Vader being lowered slowly face down into a pie.
So yeah, that was Corona. Not as hilariously stupid as Cuck, or laughably inept as The Insurrection, and not worth your time either. So join us next week, where I'll be breaking down a movie that Dom is actually familiar with, a forgotten Disney title by the name of G-Force.
Well, I thought it was forgotten, but every place I bring it up, everybody remembers it.
Well, I didn't even know it existed until you brought it up to me a few weeks ago, so we'll see you then.
Quarantine, down to my last can of beans. TV's working overtime. Watched Red Dawn 1,000 times. Still, I really can't complain. YouTube.